Hi guys, welcome back, or if you're new, hello, my name is Nadia, and today I wanted to show you guys how I schedule a short film. I thought this would be a good idea considering next weekend I'm actually participating in a 72-hour film competition with a lovely group of people, and I'm going to be the AD, the assistant director. A big part of an AD's responsibility is to create the schedule for a production and also to create and send out a call sheet before every single shoot day to the cast and crew, so that way they know where and when they're supposed to arrive on set. They maintain order, they make sure that the production is going smoothly and on time, so that way we can hopefully wrap on time. The AD is also responsible for just the health and safety of the cast and crew. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the schedule portion of an AD's responsibility and show you guys what that looks like. So I created kind of a sample schedule off of an old schedule that I created for another short film. So I'm going to be showing you guys what that looks like now and explaining it to you guys. So this right here at the top will be the name of the film, whatever it may be. Today I titled it The Majestic. And then I have a few columns. You will notice right away that this is a very detailed schedule or a strip board. And not everyone on the crew should see this schedule. This is really for the AD, so that way I know how long a scene would take and basically how many shots can we fit in one 12-hour day. You will notice that we do go for 12 hours for this first day. We basically start at 6:15 and we go until 6 p.m. And we have to wrap at 6 p.m. for this day because we start at 6 a.m. the next day, and we want at least 12 hours between when we wrap and when we start another day. For this first day of our production, we did a lot of small, simple scenes, which means that we had 2 company moves. A company move is when everyone on the cast and crew, everyone moves to a different location, and they tend to take a long time. However, for this first day of our production, we actually had a skeleton crew. A skeleton crew is when you only have the bare minimum on your set. You don't have a lot of extra hands. You just have who you need, and that is it. And so company moves really wouldn't take us that long. Also, setups wouldn't really take us that long because there really wasn't much to these scenes. Of course, if you're working on a short film or if you're doing something like I'm doing this weekend with the 72-hour film, things just take less time than on a professional shoot. But you will see that I did allot some time for us to set up in the mornings and set up for each scene. I also left in the beginning, you will see 15 minutes of buffer time for if things go wrong, people are just starting to wake up, people talk in the mornings. So I like to leave a little bit of buffer time before I schedule our setup, rehearsal, and blocking time. But let's talk about these columns for a bit. So basically I start off with a time breakdown. This is for me so that way I know when each shot should be happening. And so if I see we're falling behind a little bit, I can kind of help motivate and push the crew a little bit to help us move more on time. I like to leave a minimum of 20 minutes per shot, which can sound like a lot of time, but it really isn't, especially when there are multiple takes. Obviously, for extreme close-ups, it wouldn't necessarily take 20 minutes. If it's just of an object, it can take just like maybe 10 minutes, but I really like to schedule at least 20 minutes. However, for more complicated shots, whether it's more complicated for the camera because it's a dolly shot, or it's just more complicated because of the action that's going on in that scene, maybe there's a big dramatic spill or a chase, you want to just schedule more time for those shots. But a standard time that I typically allot for just like a medium close-up of an actor talking is about 20 minutes. And so then in the next column you will see is the shot number. Every single shot starts off with the scene number, and then each shot is given a letter. And you will see right away that we don't always shoot in order. Sometimes we do, and sometimes it'll work out, like in scene 2, we're going in order. However, for other scenes, like in scene 5, we don't go in order. And that's just because it makes more logical sense for what the camera's doing, for what the actors are doing, that we just don't shoot in order. I think for this first scene, we didn't shoot in order because we knew that this dolly shot would take a little bit more time, and we wanted that first. You will oftentimes want to start off with the wide shots and then go in for the extreme close-ups at the end. You don't want to start off with a wide shot and then go to a close-up, then go to a medium shot, and then go to an extreme close-up. It's kind of a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of changing for your camera department, and it's just not necessary. So that is one reason why you might want to shoot out of order. And so then the next column that we have is shot type. I basically just take this from the shot list so that way I know what type of shot is coming up. The next column is the scene number, so you will see that we do scene 5, scene 3, and scene 2 on this first day of production. And then the next column we have is interior or exterior. Are we shooting outside or inside? And so we start outside, and then we move inside. For productions, you really want to get all of your exteriors out of the way as quickly as possible. And the reason why you don't want to schedule your exteriors for the end of the day or the end of the production is if it were to rain, you would have already shot all of your interiors, so you can't just move indoors and do that stuff. So you're kind of just stuck with nothing to do and you're wasting time. Whereas if you were to schedule your exteriors in the beginning, if it was raining and just wasn't working out, you can bump the interiors up, such as this bedroom scene, and you can move it up, and then we'd move the exterior down, so that way we're not wasting any time. Obviously, you know, sometimes you just can't, or sometimes an entire shoot is outside, but you want to move your exteriors up as much as possible. And so then in the next column you'll see is just our location. Where is that scene? So you'll see that we start off at a football field, then we go to a coffee shop, and then we go into a bedroom in a home. And so then in the next column, we just have our scene. This is just a small description of what's happening in the scene or what's happening in that shot. I just take this from the shot list, so that way I know what is happening in that shot. And so then in the next column, we have day or night. Is this supposed to be happening in the daytime, or is it supposed to be happening in the nighttime? You will see that we have a night shoot, but it might not actually be dark by this time, or completely dark. But that's okay, because we're shooting indoors and we can just close the drapes and make it look like it's nighttime. And then in our next column, we have cast IDs. Every single cast member, every single character is assigned a number. So in this production, it's very, very simple. It's just two characters. I believe Emma, our character Emma, is number 1, and then our character Mike, yes, Mike is number 2. You will also see that character 2, Mike, is not needed for the end of the day, so he can actually go home early. We would not want to schedule this bedroom scene for the middle of the day and then a coffee shop at the end, because then Mike would just be sitting around with nothing to do, and it would be a kind of a waste of time for him. So you really don't want to do that to your actors. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about that, but really try to make it so that way Mike can leave early for the day and get a nice night of rest for the next day of production. And then in the final column, you will see notes. They can be notes about props, they can be notes about the camera, they can even be notes about the schedule. Like you'll see at the very end, I note that we have to wrap at 6 because we are starting at 6 a.m. the next day, and we want at least 12 hours between when we wrap and when we start production the next day. So I knew we needed to finish at 6 because we absolutely had it to start at 6 a.m. the next day because of our location that we had. And so you'll also see that I mentioned that we have a hard out at the coffee shop at 12. This is because the coffee shop didn't want us there for more than 2 hours, and we had to be out of there by 12. We also note that the coffee shop opens at 10, so I guess we wanted to film when the coffee shop was actually open. They didn't want to open early for us. And so we really needed to work with their schedule for that one. And so that's why we had to schedule the coffee shop for the middle of the day. It was very, very tight. 10 to 12 is not a lot of time for a scene, but we did do it. Again, really small set, really small crew, small cast, very simple shots. We did not have a problem with this. However, for bigger productions, it would be kind of crazy to do a whole scene in just 2 hours. So this is just a sample of what a schedule or strip board would look like. This is what I do. I just create it on Excel. There's also professional software that you can use for scheduling and creating call sheets. Movie Magic is really, really great. However, Movie Magic does cost money, and a lot of people do have Excel, or you can even use Google Sheets, which is free, and that's what I do. But yeah, I hope you guys found this helpful. If you guys have any questions, because I know I blew through this very, very fast, let me know in the comments down below and I will answer your questions, or if there's something that you want me to talk more about, I can even make another video about it. I'm also going to be filming some behind the scenes this weekend of this short film, so I'm excited to show you guys that in the future. But I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I make new videos every single Thursday, and then hit that bell so you're notified every single time I make a new video. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye guys.